Here is a great opportunity for me to invite the great Prashant Trivedi ji. He is, a nakshatra guru for me, and he is also a guru on many subjects. I love his, love for nature, and one thing which I see, which is there in the public domain, his horoscope. I see that he has uh, three nakshatras, Aradra, Uttar Falguni, and Revati activated. And I have seen that these three nakshatras are actually animal lovers and nature lovers. So please welcome Prash Trivedi ji. Due to some kind of net issue, so I'm doing a podcast kind of an interview. So later, if the net improves, at some later point in time, we can do a video session. So welcome Prash Trivedi ji on my channel.
Okay, yes, Parthan, nice to be here and nice to speak to you. And since all people who are spreading any kind of awareness and around the world to all the people, so that's always a good thing that if anyone is trying to do that in the world. Yeah.
Yes, Prash Trivedi ji, first I would like to ask you a couple of questions regarding your love for nature.
Yes.
So is it something which was there from childhood, something like from the very young age you used to love pets, animals, nature? Is it something like that, or is it something like something triggered in you at a later point in time during your schooling or college or something later?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's not a trigger actually. Like when I'm born, like when I came here to this particular plane of existence, and for me it was new experience just to come here at all. So when, like, supposedly if you are sent to a new planet immediately right now, then you will immediately try and figure out where you are, what is around you, what is going on. So you'll have that notion of, look, I'm in a new place, I better figure this out. So for me it was like that. So, and if you come here, then you'll see prakritis all around, and it'll be obviously of a different kind of prakriti than other planes. So you will see, try and figure that out and then observe it. So that observation is the connection. When you start observing, then you start connecting simultaneously. So it happens simultaneously as you connect. So,
Yes, Prashi. So you have been traveling all over the world and you have been spreading the message to love nature and respect nature, and
yeah.
this has been your consistent
Yeah.
message
Yeah.
without a doubt. So you have also come
Yes. Yes.
across
Yes.
many philosophies, people actually talking about so many things, like this you might definitely you have spoken about it, written about in your nakshatra book as well, like the Illuminati or Rosicrucians or the
Yes.
those
Yes.
kind of things. So
Yes.
how do you see them?
Yes.
Do you see them as some people who are actually aware of the truth, or somebody who is like people who are like manipulating the truth, or somebody because one of the triggers for me to actually come to you was through this method of garbage only. So that is why I wanted to know your
Yeah.
opinion on these secret societies, and how do you actually
Yeah.
see?
Okay, but yeah. I mean, the thing is, like as I said, like first you come to this plane, like, and as I came to this plane, so I first observe prakriti which is around me.
Yes.
Then you observe the what so-called system which is in place out here.
Correct.
So when you start observing the system, you find out well who is actually running the system, and who is. You come to know the truth of what is actually happening. Like because things are not what they seem.
Yes.
What media tells you or whatever, that's not what the reality is so there are people behind pulling the strings. So I call them desperati. My name for them is not Illuminati.
Yeah.
It's desperati.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, it's a desperate sort of attempt to keep hold of people, and in order to keep hold of people, they have to make sure that they don't evolve, and people don't come to know get any kind of awareness, and people don't evolve. Or so it's a desperate attempt, Like it's like if we are going to go to hell, we're going to take many others with us. It's that kind of an attempt, like, because you're going down, so you want to take some others down with you. And in this case, some is many, like they want to take many others down with them rather than just go down there themselves. So it's that kind of perverted thinking and mentality which is driving the whole thing.
The two things come in my mind. Uh, if they are desperate, why are they revealing so many secrets like flat earth in Hollywood movies? And at the same time, they are, they're doing their own thing, they're controlling the masses, but they are also revealing things. So isn't there some kind of dichotomy there?
No, there's no dichotomy in this. The thing is, they have to keep everything in plain sight. The term for that is in plain sight.
In plain
In the
sight.
sense that if they don't reveal the karmic, the karmic thing for them is going to be too much. Okay, so they have to be able to say to some higher authority or higher divine authority. They have to be able to say, "Look, we told them. Look, we said everything. Look, everything was in right in front. We didn't do anything in secret. Okay, everything was told. Everything was." They have to. This is just their fail safe for saving themselves more hell. Actually, that's all it is. So, I mean, because they are actually scared as well, finally. Like, it's not that they're not scared. They're scared of higher forces. They're scared of what they call the force in Star Wars, like they know there's a thing called the force, so they are scared of that. So they can fool humans, but like they're still scared on a higher level. Yeah.
So these people who are pulling the strings, as you say, are they aware of
Yeah.
these higher spiritual things? Like, for example, are they aware of the end of yuga fire, like Kalapavaka, or those kind of things? Or are they just some people who have lower intelligence, but they know certain things and they're just exposing that to the public? So I just wanted, like, for example, I have asked this before also, like Samavartaka fire or Kalapavaka fire, the solar flare. Now they are using those words. I have seen many YouTubers calling Samavartaka fire is going to come, but of course they have replaced that with the event. I mean, they used to call it event, but now they are saying it is going to be the solar flare which is going to destroy the entire plane.
The thing is with these people is they don't have very long term perspective.
Okay.
You have to understand that. Okay.
Okay.
So they are just like, okay, gain in the present right now. It does not matter, like whatever. Like, the thing is that even if any destruction happens, okay, of any kind, they think that even if they go down to lower planes, which is like hellish planes,
Of course.
they would be happy if they were able to take so many other beings with them to that place. So as long as they have company in hell, they don't mind
Yes.
going to hell, as long as there's a lot of company out there. Like, it should not be like just them out there. Like, so that's their only fear. I mean, they don't fear other things so much except that. So as far as this fire is concerned, the solar thing has been going on for a long time. It's not like the sun cycle from the Mayan, that thing to right now, when the sun actually gives out its like explosion, final like main explosion. So
Yes.
that and there have been a lot of people who had talked about it before this even came in YouTube or pre-YouTube in 1990s. And, there were people like Dan Winter who talked about it even that time. And,
Oh,
so I
okay.
was aware of it at that time. But the thing was with this was that, the thing was with all these things is that people don't understand that things don't happen just like a clock. Okay, it's not a clock where just the clock will strike that and something will happen. It's not an automated system like that.
Okay. So
Someone
predicting
has
the
to trigger
date,
it. Someone has to be consciously triggered.
yeah,
Yeah,
predicting the date of the
yeah.
event is foolhardiness. That's what you're saying.
Yes, it's full audience because it's not a clock. It's not a automatic clock system where the clock will strike that and that will happen. It's not
Okay.
like that. It requires actual conscious intervention from
Yeah.
of being higher consciousness and higher power and fatality to be able to trigger that or not trigger that, either way. So yeah.
Okay, it's that. One related question is
Yeah.
two related questions. In fact, they have been
Yes.
revealing this flat earth thing, and yet we have masses and masses of people not accepting the flat earth, which is like in your face, and it is so obvious, like things are above you and they are not parallel to you. Still somehow
Yeah.
people are hell-bent on proving globe earth, and now Elon Musk is sending his cars and his
Yeah,
space
but that was yeah,
to
that was a joke. I mean that was a pure CGI. I mean, that was
yeah.
total CGI. I mean, there was, I mean, they didn't even change the tire pressure of the car or the pressure or anything. It was just normal car, just like that. CGI. It didn't look real even to him. Like when they showed the film, like it was totally. I mean, the point is that they check their conditioning. Okay, like when they reveal something, they check how much conditioning people have. So if you reveal that and millions of people still do not that thing, then you know that their conditioning is strong and their work is done. Like they have been successful. It's like a experiment. It's like a test
No, you
experiment,
you have been talking about
So
Bhumandala since so ages, and there are of course Jeranism and other YouTubers who have been talking. I have been talking about it recently. Yet people somehow seem to live in denial that there is no such thing as flat Earth. It is global. I mean, that is why I keep pestering you with these questions like, are people soulless, or is it just something again which has been promulgated by Illuminati that there is a section of people who are soulless? Because how can it be possible that people somehow defy common sense and not accept something which is so obvious like flat Earth?
because people are lot of them, whether first I won't use the word soul,
Hmm.
because spiritless, okay, like what called spirit, whether they're spirit beings or non-spirited beings, people are slaves to the system. Okay,
Hmm.
when you're slave to the system, then whatever the system says is the right thing. So if system tomorrow came and said it is flat earth, the same people will say it's flat. Okay, if tomorrow, like NASA, ISRO, everyone comes and says it's a flat earth, then everybody will say it's a flat. Okay, they will only listen to the system. They will not listen to anything else. It's a very simple thing. It's nothing to do with common sense or anything. Like they don't have any common sense because they don't have any connection to nature. Because common sense comes through some connection with nature. Like you have to have some minimum amount
Yes, which
of
you
connection to
yeah,
nature
which
to
you
get
keep
some
telling
common sense.
again, which you
Yeah,
keep telling so many times that we need to
yeah.
have connection with the nature.
Because where does sense come from? Sense comes from like natural order of sense, like how nature has a sense about it, how things function, how things move, how things function in this multiverse. Like, so that sense is the common sense. And and one can't get that if there is total. And the people who are connected to system, they are totally obviously disconnected with nature. And especially in India and stuff, you can see that very, very clearly. Like people hardly have any touch with nature. They just like, it's just their office and their government jobs and everything. And you know everything is just total disconnection. Like people don't even think about nature in India at all. Like, I mean, there is just absolutely zero, like, even consciousness going towards it. People are, I mean, now AC has come, so a lot of people are just sitting in their AC, so they're even more disconnected. So, like, it's just a complete, like, an utter disconnection, and which leads to no common sense. Then flat Earth and stuff they can't understand. Obviously, that requires some sort of logical, analytical ability to be able to discern such things.
Yes, true, true. One and another question I
Yeah,
wanted to ask is like how your nakshatra book has actually changed me to the core. It has actually shook me to the core. Maybe you don't realize it how
yeah,
it has shaken some beings like me. So the question
yeah,
is like things like I will tell you, just a simple example. Like in Ashlesha nakshatra, you said it has the sounds D, day, and all that. Last year, a movie came called Mom, Sridevi's last movie, and in which
yeah,
her name is Devika, the villain name is sorry, the detective name is DK, and she actually kills her victims using apple poison seeds, and it is
yeah.
totally Aslesha theme. I mean, how did
Yes,
you know all these things? So sometimes I wonder. I want to ask you, but out of fear, I don't ask you. But how did you know these subtle, minute things like these things? It is like a script which is unfolding in front of my eyes. See, when you talk about
yeah,
things in Purvashada
yeah,
nakshatra page, or when you talk about things in Ashlisha nakshatra page, those things are actually unfolding right in front of my
yeah,
eyes. And I will be
yes,
shameless to admit that using your knowledge, I have decoded so many movies of West and India and things in general in nature, how things happen.
yes,
Like
yes,
yesterday I was making a video on how this Rajnikant's new movie 2.0, which is coming, in which there is a Garuda which is flying above, and Shravan Nakshatra
Yeah,
is Vishnu, and Rajnikant is born in Shravan Nakshatra, and Shah Rukh Khan is
yeah,
born in Shravan Nakshatra. I mean, I definitely know that these beings are not aware of anything, but
yes.
is the divine Vishnu actually running the whole show? That is my doubt, because
I mean,
I'm sure these people don't know anything. But how is it that BJP has Lotus, then this Imran Khan has Nakshatra, he's born in Anuradha, and he is like born in this
yeah,
shithole. I mean, what is going on? Who is actually running the show?
yeah. The thing is this. Like, no matter where you are, what you are, okay, like there are basic scripts and parameters along with which the multiverse will run. Okay, nobody can step out of those parameters. Okay, when I mean nobody, then I mean nobody. Whether it's desperati, whether it's people can be doing all kinds of nonsense. People can be doing all kinds of manipulations. People can be doing all kinds of madness. But the core script, like the Unix of it, I'll call it the Unix of it, will stay the same. Whether you can make a Linux on it, you can make a Windows on it, you can make a DOS system on it, you can make a C, C++, or anything. The basic core system, which is the Unix system, will stay the same. Okay, so like what my book is based on is the core Unix system
Like,
of the multiverse, like of
sorry to ask you
how
again,
the realms function. Yeah,
become aware of such minute things? I mean, like
yeah.
DJ and Devika and
It's just
Poison and those kind of things. The whole movie, when I was watching it, was exactly as per your book. I mean, I have seen many movies, not just the mom movie, or but how is it happening, and who is running the show?
it is so many. Yeah, the thing is that, yeah, the thing is because anything has a detail, you know,
Yeah.
like a detail and a overall, like a macrocosm and a microcosm.
Okay.
Okay, okay. So there is a detailed picture
Mhm.
which comes out from the macrocosm only. But there is no difference between for me myself. It is from my third eye. When I didn't even read any book on nakshatras or
Yeah,
anything
you
like that.
told that. Yes.
Like I didn't. For me, like my third eye awakening happened. Yeah, my third eye awakening happens, and after that, I get the knowledge of how this functions. Okay, like it's not nothing to do with actual like getting data from here or getting data from there or anything like that, which there was no data on nakshatras anyways.
Correct.
Like
Correct.
even Parashar only in his whatever version we have available, only the names are mentioned.
Yes.
Okay, not a single word has been said except the names in
Correct.
in
Correct.
that Brihad Parashar Hora Shastra as it is available right now. So there was no question of getting anything. It was you have to have direct perception,
Okay.
like direct perception of, because you are inside this, so you can have a direct perception of what you are inside, and you have to have a very deep thirst of knowing what you're inside and what the whole thing is.
Hmm.
You have to have a very, very conscious and very deep desire to know it.
After I read your book, I must admit that many things started making sense. And one more thing,
Yes.
I wanted to ask you is, please don't be offended if if it sounds wrong or something. Like you talk about praise, bow, and serve, and many of your
Yeah.
things you have said that.
PBS. Yeah.
Yeah,
PBS.
I
Yeah.
have been mostly an atheist. I actually never, I have bowed before sun. Yes, that I agree from childhood.
Yes.
But generally, I'm kind of an atheist. I never do murti puja or anything.
The thing is, like, for example, what people consider things like Murti Puja and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And those are not Vedic things, anyways. Okay,
Yes,
the modern Indian forms of worship are
yes.
not as per Vedic, anyways. Okay,
Mm.
and bowing and stuff also was not allowed. Like for example, if you came in front of a rishi, like anyone comes in front of a rishi anytime, okay, so then they would have to praise the rishi first. They have to know who that is first, what are their qualities. They'll have to be able to say that. Bowing is not possible with it when you don't even know. Like right now in India, people see someone who's older than them, and then they go bow to them because they're just older in age. Okay, or anything, or they go to a temple, bow to something, whatever deity. They don't even know the qualities of the deity. They don't know what that is about. They have no idea. Okay, so that is not counted. That's not considered as bowing. Okay, praising is a normal, natural act. Like if you see something that's good, you say that's good, or this feels better, or this feels good. Like it's a normal, natural thing. If a being is not normal and natural, even there's no question of them getting to any higher state anyways. Okay, that is not possible. Okay, and whatever beings have in this lifetime can come from tapasya of previous lifetimes. Okay,
That
it's
true.
not
True.
necessary that you do something right now.
Yes.
that you will get. So tapasya is tapasya. Tapasya always was PBS only in any time. Like whether it is when an Asura does it, or a Devta does it, or Parvati does it, or whosoever does it, it is always going to be PBS only. If Parvati does tapasya for Shiv, it is praising, bowing, serving. If Hanuman does it for Ram, it's PBS. If any being, Prahlad does it, it's PBS. If any being ever, even Asur, when he's doing to Shiv, he's going to praise Shiv. Like even Ravan, when he did the Shiv Tantrav Srotam, that's a
Correct.
praise of Shiv, right? Okay. I
And
mean,
you
yeah,
did
so
say that it is a
that
fifth
is a
house
basic
thing.
principle of the multiverse.
Yeah.
It is a basic multiversal principle which no one can change.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. No one can change that. Tapasya will always be the same. In English,
Yes.
you can call it penance, or in which is the closest word in English, but tapasya is more full word, complete word. So tapasya always is one thing only. Tapasya is not standing on one leg. Tapasya is not like putting your both arms up and just keeping them like that. That is not considered tapasya. Tapasya is always praising, bowing, and serving only. So that there is no,
Yeah.
it's never going to change. It's a pure principle. It's a
Yeah.
pure principle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you said, it is
So whether
could.
one is an atheist
Yeah.
or one is a thief,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah. As you
it's
said,
not a matter of whether one is an atheist or not, or yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
you are absolutely right.
yeah,
It could be because this life I have been actually I have not been that I'm not
yeah,
done that much tapasya, because see, whenever I think it rains, if I think of coconut chutney, you won't believe it is ready before me by the evening. If I think of a mango, somebody comes and gives me a mango. These kind of things,
yes,
I sometimes wonder, do I really deserve it? What have I
yeah.
done to get these things? So sometimes I do wonder. And
There, I mean, fulfillment of any kind of thought or that thing depends on a previous tapasya only. Okay, of any kind. Okay, I mean, even Asura does some tapasya, like, okay, and then afterwards, things will happen as per they want, how they want. I mean, so that
okay,
will happen. I mean, it's not a, even if Dev does or Asura does or anyone does, it
correct,
happens like that. Okay, so that is just the result of it.
exactly,
And then if you don't do, and if you just keep on like that thing, then you can lose all of that too in time, and then you're back to square one basically. So
true,
so
true,
that's how the story goes. Yeah.
yeah.
And if you violate the multiversal laws, you lose the power or strength or whatever, like the force one has accumulated. It's a very
Yes.
simple thing. It's not very complicated.
So, something similar to Star Wars Force.
Yeah.
That's what you are
Yes,
saying.
yes, yes,
The force,
yes, yes,
may the
yes.
force be with
I mean,
you. Okay.
yeah, we have force with a PHORCE, which is Shakti, which is called Shakti in Sanskrit.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
the same, it became force in Star Wars. Like,
Okay.
yeah. So,
One
yeah,
more controversial question. I hope I'm not troubling you with all this, because nobody has courage to ask you these questions. See, one more
yeah,
question is like, when we say Ayodhya or Dwaraka, you have told me privately that this is in higher earth. We all know that we are
yeah,
definitely not on that earth, because when I read Mahabharata of Vedyas ji, their dimensions are totally different. So when
yeah.
we say that we are trying to find Ayodhya or Dwaraka or some relics or something, are we doing a mistake? Because anyway we are not on higher earth, because those things happened, Mahabharata etc happened there.
Okay,
So what are we doing? What are
okay.
we trying to search here?
Okay, this is fine. This is like the what people don't understand in all this is, like, I'll give you a very clear thing for this. Like,
Please, please.
just not because people who are trying to find it physically, they are doing the wrong thing anyways. There's nothing to, no Ayodhya or Dwarka to be found. So that is absolute nonsense anyways. Okay, that much I'll start with. But you have to look in the word. Ayodhya means Ayodhya,
Correct.
means there is lack of war. There
Correct.
is no war and there is no fighting between beings. Okay. So if there is any place on even this earth, this plane, where people are staying and there is no fighting happening between them, and they are in harmony, and that thing, that is Ayodhya.
Anyways,
Okay.
okay.
It can be here. I mean, even on a higher realm, if people are staying and there is fighting starts happening among them, then that will not be Ayodhya. That state will not be there. Okay. So, no matter what realm you are in, it doesn't matter. Ayodhya always means lack of war, lack of strife, lack of infighting, lack of nonsense. Okay. So, if a Rishi's ashram is there, for example, where everything is totally harmonious, then that is all Ayodhya, wherever that is. Okay. That may be. Okay. So, that is a concept. Dwarka concept, like the Dwarka. Like Dwar means door.
Correct.
Okay. Door to charge. Yeah, so door to like proper charge, coherent charge, that thing.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
that is like what I call it, the exit door.
Yes.
Okay. Exit, like the exit door and everything is wherever you have the right intention of going out of hellish realms into heavenly realms or going up. That's where the door appears, where that intent is there. It's nothing to do with a place. It's nothing to do with something under the ocean, not a city. That's a foolish notion of people that these are cities or anything like that. These are actual intents which can exist in any realm or plane. Okay, these are actual intents. They're not these like physical structures which people are looking for.
As per Vedic text, we have 7 higher realms, we have 7 lower realms, we have earth, and we have narakas. Where does this earth fit
Yeah.
in? I mean, is this an earth, or is it some kind of an illusionary kind of a place which was created by somebody, some being? Like, where are we
Okay.
exactly?
Okay, let me clear one thing up first. Like nothing is an illusion. Okay. If it exists, I mean, it exists on the same parameters on which the whole Brahman that thing. So if Brahmaloka is not an illusion, then this is not an illusion either. Okay.
Hmm.
It is the principles, the guiding principles of nature and the multiverse are the same everywhere.
Okay.
So this, what we are in right now, can be just seen as a little island. Okay. 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 Which people who like spirits are trapped here or kept here, the ones who cannot get entry into more higher planes. Okay. And that is because their nature right now doesn't fit the criteria of those realms. Okay. So it is basically like a level 1 grade level school, like the first part of like you have the first level of a computer game, like that. It is for training people in a way where they get enough sense or enough like let's say practical experience to be able to go to the higher realms and be able to survive there, because right now if you take any of these people from here right now and you put them in Swarg even right now, they
Hmm.
won't last one day.
Yeah, that
Okay.
you have said many
I mean
times.
that's a fact and that's the
Yeah.
reality of it.
And you
Yeah,
know
they
what?
won't last one day, like
Yes.
they won't. So point is, yeah.
Yeah, I've been
Yeah.
reading Mahabharat
Yeah.
very
So
diligently, and I've seen that
yeah.
80% of Mahabharat is nothing but praise. Even when Arjun goes to Swarg, he is praising everybody, and then Urvashi is praising him, he is praising, and it seems like, the way they behave is like mind blowing. Like where Urvashi praises Arjun, Arjun praises Urvashi. Even on
Yes,
Bhumandal, everybody is praising him.
it's called manners.
Yes,
Yeah, there's a thing called manners.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, if you don't have manners, that in English word manners, okay, so like if you don't have manners, you're not going anywhere. Okay, it's a very simple thing. There's not much very complicated thing to. And there are beings. Okay, this multiverse is full of beings. Okay, so now beings have to deal with each other. Okay, now one being is going to deal with another being, so there has to be a code of dealing amongst beings. Okay, like there has to be, you like there cannot be just like beings dealing with beings without any kind of code. So that comes under manners and behavior. So first, for that to even behave something with someone, one has to have one's own body in control. Okay, right now people don't even have their own body under control. Okay, once you have your own body under control, then you can behave with someone the way you want to, because then you have the power to control yourself in whatever way you want, with your speech, with your body language, with everything. But when you don't have that control, then there is nothing, there's no question of any manners or behavior or any of these things. So there's a basic discipline, like a Martian discipline, which is first required for the body, which then translates into proper behavior and the correct behavior. So that's what was taught in all rishikuls. Like all rishis taught that to their students first.
True.
And like even even Shaolin, like the Chinese thing, all comes from that. Like everything, basic body discipline in order to control your body properly, to be centered, to have the right posture, then have the right speech, to practice all of that. And this is the basic thing. And without that, there's no question of being in any kind of. That's why I sort of find it so laugh-worthy, all the new age thing and all the things in the West they're trying to do and stuff without trying to do the basics. They think that they can somehow just go up, and it's not possible. That's just that's what I consider illusionary thinking. It's not this realm is an illusion. It's the people thinking like that. That's an illusion, actually, that they can escape here without getting proper behavior. Because out here, if this is a prison, then there are prison guards. Okay, there are there is a that thing, and they will not let you out, unless they are convinced that you are at that level or point. So
Yeah. When you talk
yeah,
about prison guards, I remember the movie Matrix, Agent Smith and all that. So you have also told me privately that
yes,
Matrix actually has not told anybody how to get out. It has only told that, okay, you are in a Matrix.
yeah,
You have also
yeah,
seen your P-log, and you have mentioned that how Neo, he has got a pale skin and he's wearing all those glasses. So definitely an avatar or a person of higher energy will definitely not do such things. That is what
yeah. I
I
mean, yeah,
gather.
because you have to show everything at a very low level. It's called LCD. I call it LC, lowest common denominator level.
Okay, okay.
Okay, like everything has to be shown at the sort of level. Okay, and the thing is that they're not showing what matrix, because there's many matrices out there. There's a matrix of the government and all of this. There's a mental matrix. There is a nature's matrix. Nature is also matrix, but it is a different kind of matrix. Okay, that's also matre. Matrix comes from word matra, mata, matri,
Correct, correct.
matrix.
Everything is
Okay,
Vedic.
that's
That
yeah.
I have observed.
So
Yes.
it is. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the thing is, even the movie Matrix, they don't even specify. They're just showing this the cyber world, or like the computer world as a matrix, just like that kind of thing. But I mean, like, which is like a computer game world right now, but obviously, nothing is real in that, because it's just even though it's not real, it still has to be based on some foundations of the same codes, like Unix or any of those things, and how it functions. Everything has to still follow some natural law. Okay, even at that level, like even the computer we are talking through, or even the mobile, everything has to follow the laws of electricity, and how it moves, electricity and magnetism, and how it translates into sound or light or anything like that. So those laws stay the same for any technology. They stay the same for nature. They stay the same. So these things are not going to change. So either people have knowledge of that laws, or they don't. It's a matter of knowing or not knowing.
Yeah.
But the laws remain the same, actually. So yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
that's a
calling
that's.
things an illusion has become
Mm,
yeah, because all the people who say like Jagat Mithya and all of that. I
mm,
mean, I just want like people to go and put a big danda on their head,
mm.
and like once they're beaten with that danda, and then say like, no, this was just an illusion. You didn't feel anything. I didn't hit you with a danda. Like there was nothing.
Yes.
There was no danda. There was nothing. Like I mean, it's a very very simple thing, and I mean, you just do that. I mean, because that's like a very illogical, nonsensical thing. It's a escapist thing where
Mm,
you are not able to cope with the game, and you want to press abort, and you press escape and abort, but it doesn't happen like that. You press escape, you start again the same point. You can press escape and abort as many times you want.
mm.
Like so, it's like
Yeah.
yeah. So
So two related questions. One is you said electricity that I'll come later. One thing I wanted to understand is why would a just God or a peace loving, God, a God who is sleeping and who wakes up from his slumber and creates this universe, why would he create a caste system? Why would he create hierarchies? Why would he create all these rules?
the thing was that nothing like that was created. Like when the Brahman was created initially.
Mm,
Okay, the Brahman was only created for experiencing bliss and pleasure.
okay.
That was the original purpose of creation,
Yes.
to experience bliss and pleasure. Okay.
Mm,
Now, they some beings at some point, if there was bliss and pleasure only, and some beings at some point decided to like not follow the laws or the basis of
mm,
what that
mm.
bliss, because finally beings started interacting with each other. Okay,
Correct. Correct.
like because if they're going to be beings, they're going to interact.
Yes.
Okay, now when they're interacting, there has to be some sense to their interaction. Okay,
Mm,
it can't be just hocus pocus.
mm.
Okay, so like for example, the Daksha story comes to
Yes.
mind, like
Of
when
course. Of course.
Daksha had to interact with Shiv. Okay,
Yes.
yeah. So then the point is, Daksh went against that things of
Mm,
ego or whatever.
mm.
He went against the way that interaction should have happened. Okay,
Correct. Correct.
so he didn't do the interaction in the right way. So then he suffered for it. So like that was the first sort of instances in the Brahman we seeing of the suffering and stuff which takes place because of that kind of particular kind of behavior. Daksh was in a
Yeah.
quite good state. I mean, he was, yeah,
Yeah. A beautiful
because Daksh was
synchronicity.
the ruler of the realms.
Yeah, what I wanted to say
Yeah.
was, beautiful synchronicity. Just before our session started, I was reading this Daksh and Rudra story. Okay, please continue.
Yes. 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 So the thing with Daksh is that Daksh was having a very good time. Okay, he's the ruler of the realms. He has all the things. He is having a lot of state, bliss state. I mean, there's no problems for
Yes.
Daksh. There is no problem at all.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah, there is. That's how the multiverse was intended to be. Okay. Now he created a problem for himself. It was not like the problem was there. Okay. Like he created it for himself. Finally, what happened or whatever the situation he got into in the end.
Yeah.
Where his head is cut off or whatever is happening or like whatever pain and torture is happening to him. He is creating that himself. Like there is no one else to blame, like except his own self.
No.
So
Yeah,
it
that
was
is.
not the creator had intended any of these things. Like,
Uh, So you're saying
like Brahma
everything
also,
because
who's
of
his father.
free will,
Yeah.
these things happen. Like, because in Mahabharat, one of the troubling things I see is like constant praise of Brahmanas. अगर ब्राह्मण के खिलाफ आप कुछ बोलते हो तो कुछ हो जाएगा. You have Brahmana, Kshatriyas and Shudras. These things are slightly troubling me. I mean, everything else is fine, but these things,
Okay.
who
Like
created
okay,
Shudras?
what it means is just knowledge. Brahman doesn't mean a particular that thing. Brahman means a being with knowledge.
Okay.
Okay, being who knows what the functionings are, who knows more than you about the functionings of the multiverse. Okay,
True.
actual. That is a Brahmana. Brahmana is not something by birth. It's not a caste. It's not a that thing. It's an actual title. Like right now, people call doctor. Then nobody says anything about a doctor just because he has studied that medical science, and then it's called doctor. Then everybody's fine with that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So Brahmana is also a title. It's not a birthright. It's
Thanks
not
for
a.
clarifying. Yeah.
It is like Kshatriya is also a title. Like, okay, if you show propensity and you can fight, you have courage and you have that thing, that is a propensity and it's something you show. It's nothing to do with like any birthright or anything. People don't understand that none of these things are birthrights or anything like that.
Okay.
Like, that's what people don't understand. Like, that's where the confusions happen, because these are just titles. I mean, Rishi is a title of Rishi, because it has done that work and it has reached that level of understanding and reached that level of knowing. Okay. So even like a Brahmin who knows some little bit is not gonna do any drama with a Rishi. Like, I mean, that's not, so yeah. So it's these are titles, and Rishi also, there's titles like Rajashri, Brahmashri, Devarshi, like different levels amongst that too. I mean, these are just to show what level of understanding beings have of this multiverse, and that's all it is. I mean, it's nothing unfair about it.
You mean to say that hierarchy was created organically? It came out naturally. It was not something created by man. It was like hierarchy happened. Hierarchy happened. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, and that too depends on whosoever does. I mean, if someone does a tapasya, right, then they reach a more higher state, and then so be it. Multiverse allows for everyone. Like, it's not like a one being who's a Shudra right now can't do that. They can do tapasya. They can reach any level. I mean, there is nothing stopping. Like a Valmiki story, he became a rishi from a hunter. Like, there's nothing stopping any being in this multiverse to reach any to reach any state, to reach any place. I mean, there is nothing stopping anyone. Like, so
nothing or nobody is
those
stopping
things,
anybody to reach higher realms.
Or and higher states for themselves. There's no one is stopping anyone. Like, I mean, that's when people say right now that they're stopping, as the Illuminati are stopping. Nobody's stopping. And Illuminati is not stopping you. You are stopping yourself. I mean, if they can provide you distractions, they can provide you distractions, but it's up to you whether you go by the distractions or not. I mean, it's nobody is stopping you. Like,
Yes, there's a choice for Partha. A choice for me is to either watch Khatron Ke Khiladi or I talk to LotusOcean. That's definitely a choice which everybody has.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So there is nobody, like, people should get off this victim mentality right now in the West also, and India and everywhere, that, oh, we are just that things of the system. And it's not so. Like, you are in that situation only because you're not taking responsibility for yourself, and you're not doing whatever is required, which you can, since everybody has been given a body. So that means everybody's given an instrument to
True.
be able to use it and get higher. I mean, so like everybody has an instrument. It's not like that people don't have the opportunity. They have time, they have instrument, they've got everything.
Yeah.
And right now in this day and age, they have so much information and so much knowledge is more there, and everything is even more easily available than it was before. So
Yeah, in
there are no
fact,
excuses really, actually, of
inspired
anything.
by you, I have been telling people not to do any hatha yoga exercises, breaking their body and all that, because even I never did, maybe because of laziness or because of my past life tapasya, I never wore a watch. Whenever I used to wear a
Yeah,
watch, I used to get discomfort, and I never did any yogas or exercises. And
yeah,
after,
because
I came across you, I felt vindicated. I felt, oh, so I have been on the right path all along, because many people break their bones doing yoga. I mean, first of all,
yeah, yeah, but
there is no such thing as yoga. You have yoga.
yeah. Yes, and the thing is, the rishis never did this. All this nonsense has come in the last 1500, 2000 years. I mean, rishis, when they taught their students, they were not telling them to put their leg above their heads or put the leg on this side of the head. They were not teaching any such thing. They were just telling them to be centered and have a proper posture and a proper centered speech. They were centering them. They were not making them do all this kind of nonsense. So all this
Yeah.
yoga stuff is absolute nonsense. And I mean, it's a shop, like, like it just made people money, like that's all it was. And I mean, the same has happened. Like the temples made the pandas money,
Yeah.
now these shops made other people money. Like, so like these are just shops. Like it's nothing to do with any reality or anything to do with one's evolution or getting higher. It's nothing to do with that.
No, but I want to tell you something. Unless until you came along, really, I'm telling you, we were in a sea of lies. Because see, we everywhere you go, you have a Buddha who's not a Buddha. Then we have all these Anandas, various kinds of people calling themselves Ananda. I don't want to take names because it may hurt some people, but
Yeah.
Anand, I don't know what kind of Anand they have. So
Okay.
last 3,000 years has been full of fraud and deceit only.
Yes, that's what the whole thing is like, because when we went away from the Vedic way, like when we started going away from the Vedic way through arranged marriage started, like there's no arranged marriage in Vedic, then
Yeah,
arranged marriage started, all of
correct.
that. We started going away from it and all of that. And obviously there is, the whole thing starts moving in that way and more fraud happens. And finally it reaches to this Ananda. I just want to ask anyone go to any scripture and find me a Rishi who's called Ananda,
Correct.
like any Rishi name. I
Yeah.
mean, there are different Rishis, like names are there, but there's no Ananda there. And Rishis had all kinds of Anand, because they have so much different knowledge. Each knowledge has its own Anand, and they have all kinds of Anand. Okay. They have all kinds of pleasure and bliss. Okay. But they're not calling themselves that, because if a person calls themselves that, that means they have nothing. If you have to actually change your name and call yourself that, that just shows your level where you actually don't have anything, and you're just trying to fool people and fraud people into that.
Yes, actually, when I
They
did
had so many
research,
diseases and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. That's what I was about to say. When I did
yeah,
research on all these Anands of last century, some of them are pot smokers, some of them are like they have sexual diseases and they have all
yeah,
kinds of diseases, and yet they
yeah,
are Anand and they are guiding light
yeah,
for the world. Can you believe it?
yeah. It's because people have lost complete sense. Then what happens is things happen from an external way. Like if, like in India and stuff, like our people started wearing certain kind of things. They've started wearing an orange robe. Then you become a Baba and a Sadhu and Sannyasi, and people respect you just because you wear that robe. Okay, like an orange robe. Then people started being in this kind of thing. It's a, like, like if in India, like if someone dresses up like a politician, then it's a neta. If somebody like goes like that, then it's that. Like it's all.
True.
If you put a suit and tie, then you are a corporate person. It's just such a superficial way of looking at things that people don't have sense beyond the superficial. That's why these people were able to that thing. And then it comes media. Like media obviously pushes anyone, then people think that that's the right person. Okay, that it's a very simple thing. It's either media or clothes. It's nothing to do with actual the being, whether they have any connection with nature, whether they have anything, whether they're making any sense with how they're living, whether they have any diseases or not. I mean, all these things don't matter to people. All that matters is their clothes and whether they're being pushed. And all these Anandas have been pushed by various things. I mean, like one of these Anandas, he gave a lecture somewhere in Chicago or something.
Correct.
Okay. And now if you go through that lecture, there's nothing in it. There is not a single sentence of any use for any human being. in it, like Jim saying. I mean, there's no knowledge, there's no nothing, there's nothing in it, like Jim saying. And they said like this made him famous, this lecture. I mean, what is there in the lecture? If someone can show me what is so great about it, and I'm ready to like have a talk with them. Like what talk or anything in that lecture there is of any use to any human being on earth, you know.
Yes.
So
Yeah. Also, sadly,
yeah,
Max Muller, his
yeah,
brothers, his friends, and then his Anandas have translated Vedas. That is the sad part, because they have
yeah,
translated in English, and blunders they have committed, like they have committed blunder, like translating yagna as sacrifice. And because of that major blunder, everywhere I read a English translation, I only see horse sacrifice, a goat sacrifice, a god sacrifice, a rishi. I just can't believe the kind of blunders they have committed in translating these pavitra
yeah.
words.
They're not committed to none, but it's deliberate. I mean, it's deliberate. I mean, nobody who came to India, they didn't want Vedic knowledge
Okay.
to see the light of day,
Hmm.
and they wanted it to be seen in a bad light. Okay, like when they mistranslated and they did these things, it was a deliberate thing. And I'm saying that even right now, there are a lot of Indian authors and stuff who are being paid by Western publishers to write nonsense
Hmm.
about Vedic things, and a lot of them are being made famous right now, even right now. So who write just anything about Shiv and Vishnu and that thing, and these books are published by HarperCollins and all these things,
Yes,
and
yes.
you
I
know,
know.
like
I know
yes,
whom you're talking about.
so that
Now I get it. Yes, that Shiva
yeah, yeah,
trilogy and those
yeah,
things.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Whatever, yeah, like anything uh, which takes Vedic into a wrong light, shows it in a wrong light, which pushes the wrong version of it, will always get promoted, and it's going to be funded and promoted. It's because Vedic is the only thing which is a threat to
Hmm.
everything. Okay, the whole system, the way it is running, the way things are running right now. That is the only, and the beings who are in charge know that. So there has been all this deliberate stuff going on for quite a while, at least 400-500 years now. So
True. 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 True.
yeah, there was no idol worship in Vedic. There
Yes.
was no temples.
Yeah.
Okay, none of this was there. Okay,
Yes.
like Krishna, like Arjuna was not going to a temple. He was not doing any idol worship. You know, and Arjuna was talking to Krishna even at that time, but he was not mentioning Ram. He never mentioned Ram once. Ram had already come and gone in Treta Yuga, but he was not talking about. But Ram said this, but Ram said that to Krishna. He never said once
Hmm.
to to Krishna that yeah. I mean, people used to live in the present. They were not. I mean, because Arjun knows that he doesn't know Ram. He has not met Ram. He has no idea of Ram. Like he is meeting this person who is right in front of him. He'll talk to him. He's not gonna live in some past way of beings whom he has never dealt with or has no idea of. Like so,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I mean, people had some sense.
Yes.
Yeah, like because people always ask, "Oh, what about Ram? What about Krishna?" I mean, that is past. That's not. It's not present. Okay, like I mean, it's very like because the whole thing is always being in the past, and that too not having a proper version of the past. If what Krishna is about, most people don't know what Krishna is about actually, like or anything, you know.
Yeah.
And all the avatars, people have no idea what avatars actually do, you know. So like they have their own rose tinted glass version of the whole thing, you
No,
know,
but
which is
translations also don't help,
yeah,
right? Like, for example, Buddha was pushed as the ninth avatar. I mean,
yeah,
come on. How can Buddha be ninth avatar? He preached a lot of
yeah,
falsehood and lot of nonsense he talked of when he was there in this realm.
yeah. But I mean, the point was, I mean, like any normal person, if they wake up one day and say that there is death and disease in this realm, so I should try and get out. That's just a normal thing to do.
Hmm.
And that whosoever that person was in the history did that. He got realization that this is death and disease and stuff. I should not be in cycle of birth and death. That's
Hmm.
all. So it's a very simple thing. It's nothing very complicated. Like I mean,
No, no. The point
and
was
people have
like,
made so much nonsense. And
no, his name was put in Vishnu Puran. People are saying the ninth avatar, Buddha. The Buddha has been translated as this guy,
yeah,
Siddhartha Gautama. That is my point. The
yeah.
point is like mistranslation. Like, how can you say Siddhartha
Yes.
Gautama is the ninth avatar? Buddha can be
The
anybody who
thing is
has
that
buddhi, right?
buddhi. Yeah, buddhi is a very ancient like concept. Buddhi is like buddhi. It's discrimination, sense of discrimination.
Yes.
Okay. So any with a developed buddhi is a buddh. It can
Right.
be anyone. That's just a title again.
Correct.
You know, it
Yes.
can be any, and I don't go by historical things at all, like, because historical things can be all twisted, and like no one knows actually. I mean even people's lives right now are
Yeah.
twisted. Like, so forget about people who are living 100 years ago or 500 years ago or 1000 years ago. I mean, so it is not like, they are not dependable. All these historical sources are not dependable about life of any being here on
Mm.
earth.
Mm.
So like there's no point going into them and turning that, because one has to try and learn the multiversal laws and principles right now and apply them right now to oneself,
Correct.
rather than creating all this craziness about whether this person existed right now. Even people can say whether Siddharth Gautam or whatever, that person even existed or not. There's no proof. I mean,
True.
they didn't have cameras at the time. They didn't have recordings. They didn't have anything like that,
Yeah.
which you can have hard drive data right now to see, like, like, of whether that was actually there even or not. Like, so, I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
So, one interesting point you
yeah.
made at the beginning of our discussion was spirit being. So, just for the sake of repetition, I wanted to know. You can pass the answer if you don't want to answer again, because it's my favorite subject.
Yeah.
Do I mean, are you saying indirectly that some people only have spirits? Are you saying that, or are you saying that some people have more spirit and some people have less spirit?
Okay. I'll give you a very like clear, like, sort of thing about this from the Vedic perspective. Okay, just
Sure.
very, very clear thing. Okay,
Sure.
there is kinds of structures. Okay, there are spirits which own multiple beings, like one spirit for many beings.
Okay. Okay. That's
Okay,
what Illuminati also says. Yeah.
okay, there is spirit per being. Yeah, the one spirit per being is there. One spirit for many beings is there. Just
Mm.
like a, like in a, like a honeybee complex, like the whole honeybee hive has one single spirit,
Yes.
singular.
Yes.
It's not individual.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So there is singular spirit, and that used to be like, say, like this asura used to create so many of themselves.
Mm.
Like they used to create a whole army of their own selves. So that central spirit is controlling all those other bodies.
Mm.
Basically, there
Mm.
appear to be many bodies, but a singular spirit is controlling them. Okay. So that is one case. Okay.
Mm.
Then there is a case of beings who are totally automatons, like who don't have any spirit at all.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So
So
that
they
is
are
there.
like
That
robots, basically.
so that is
They're
there
like,
because many
yeah,
people
that is
say
there,
that.
and
Yeah, that people
that
don't
is
have.
there, and yeah. So that, yeah, then different entities can use those bodies as
Oh.
vehicles. Whenever, like you use a car, like you just go into a car, you start driving it, like, whenever
Mm.
you want to, or that thing, like just cars which are lying around, basically.
True. True.
You can ride that car if you want,
Mm.
basically. So there is all, and then there are beings with lesser spirit, beings with more spirit, Coherence, and then there's all kinds of things. There is nothing
Mm.
which is not there in this. Okay, so
Mm.
it's like all of it exists.
Okay.
It's like, that's what I'm going to say on this. Like,
Okay. So
okay,
you said again coherence. So can you please, for our audience, can you please define coherence and charge? Like, what is the difference between coherence and charge, and how do they help us?
okay. Charge and coherence is this. Like, for example, um, like there's a thing called like torchlight, for example.
Yes.
Like torch, like which people use the torch. Okay,
Mm.
now if you take the torchlight outside in night time and you'll put it on, you'll find that it only reaches certain distance.
Yes.
It doesn't go past a certain distance. The
Yes.
light, it scatters.
Mm.
Okay. Now, if you take a laser,
Yes.
laser is also a light. you
Mm.
know it goes much longer, it goes much farther. It has the difference between torchlight and a laser is
Mm.
the degree of coherence, actually, how the waves intermingle with each other and how they like combine with each other in order to, when the things are in a fractal, when the waves are nesting in a fractal, then they go farther and propagate further. So
Mm.
that is also charge.
Mm.
Like, same way, like battery, like a laser also works from battery. Okay,
Okay.
so that is charge. Battery
Mm.
is giving charge, right? Now
Mm.
torch is also getting that charge.
Yes.
Okay, but torch is not getting, the torch bulb light is not getting that far. Okay,
Mm. Mm.
so when the charge is arranged in a coherent way, then it becomes a laser. Otherwise it's torchlight. Okay,
Okay.
so the degree of coherence of anything
Mm.
defines its let's say, what you call power,
Okay.
force, penetrability, everything. Okay, that is the coherence is the thing which define. I mean, to how to mathematically define it, you'll have to go into study of fractals and sacred geometry. What are, how those fractals and how waves actually add up with each other rather than destructive interference, like how to have constructive interference, not have destructive interference amongst waves.
Okay.
So there are different nesting structures in which there is only constructive interference and things just pile up on top of each other and they keep on increasing rather than decreasing. Okay, so that's a whole real science to that. Okay, so I mean, all those things can be measured. Like a spirit also is the amount of level of coherent charge you have inside your body. That's your spirit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you are
Basically,
the
that's
only,
all.
yeah, you are the only being who actually talked about these things. And I heard first time 2 years back in one of your interviews. I was actually quite shocked because nobody told this. Nobody told us, these kind of things.
Yes. Yeah, because these people don't know anything. How will they tell when they don't know? You know something first before you tell. I mean, that's the point, that they don't know anything. That's the reality of it.
So Prashi, it was an honor for me, especially because a lot of things that today you told, actually, I really don't know if you have told it before. Maybe today was the day when some secrets were supposed to be revealed as per divine plan. So I'm really thankful to you for that and giving me an opportunity. And I know many people don't ask these questions, so maybe it's because of my inquisitive nature that I ask all these questions and pester you. But you have been very kind and you have answered so many questions. I'm really thankful to you for that. And so I will end this session here, and we can connect up later whenever you are free for another enlightening session. Thanks a lot, Prashji.